Space island endless. Captain Raylan sat alone inside his small spaceship, the Valkyrie. Outside the window, millions of stars blinked in the black sky. He had been traveling for weeks. No humans, no planets, no life. He was a deep space explorer. His job: find strange signals, collect data, and report back to Earth. But for the last 10 days, there was nothing, only silence. Then suddenly, beep, beep, beep. Raylan looked at his control screen. A signal. Weak, unstable, but real. He pressed a few buttons. The signal was repeating again and again. Help. Dying. Crash. Need help. The voice was soft, almost human, but not exactly. Raylan narrowed his eyes. Where is it coming from, Val? He asked his ship's AI. The AI spoke in a calm voice. Unknown planet. Class: uninhabitable. Life signs: none. Risk level: high. Raylan paused. Any ships nearby? Negative. You are the only vessel in this sector. He stared at the signal again. The voice sounded scared. Alone. Plot a course, he said. We're going down. The planet was dark and full of thick red clouds. Lightning cracked in the sky. The Valkyrie landed roughly on rocky ground. Raylan put on his helmet and stepped outside. Everything was quiet. Dust in the air, no wind, no animals, just silence. He followed the signal through a narrow canyon. His tracker beeped louder with every step. Then he saw it. A crashed escape pod, half buried in the ground, metal bent, smoke rising, and then movement. Raylan rushed forward. Inside the broken pod lay a girl, not human. She had light purple skin, silver hair, and strange glowing lines on her arms. Her body was injured. Her clothes were torn, but her eyes slowly opened. She looked at Raylan with pain and fear. Her lips moved. You human. Raylan knelt beside her. Yes, I got your signal. I'm here to help. She coughed, her voice weak. If you help me, you accept the price. What price? He asked, confused, but she fainted before answering. Raylan picked her up carefully. She was cold, very light. He carried her back to the ship and placed her in the med bay. Scan her, he told the AI. The AI hesitated. Alien DNA, unknown biology, but ... healing possible. Raylan gave her a special serum to stop the bleeding. He stayed by her side. Suddenly, a strange light filled the room. A hologram appeared near the alien girl's body. It was a floating symbol, ancient and glowing. It spoke in a deep voice. The life bond has begun. The one who saves the royal must complete the bond. You are now marked. Raylan jumped back. What the hell? The AI beeped. A foreign code is entered. The system. Raylan, you've been linked to her. Linked? What does that mean? Before the AI could answer, the alien girl opened her eyes again. She stared at him. You saved me. Now ... we are bonded. Raylan looked at her, stunned. I didn't agree to anything. She tried to sit up in my world. The rule is old. If a royal is saved from death, the savior must become her mate. Raylan shook his head. No, this must be a mistake. It is not, she whispered. The bond is sealed. You carry the mark now. Raylan felt a burning sensation on his wrist. He looked hand, saw a strange glowing symbol appear on his skin. What is this? It's our bond. You are part of my fate now. Raylan stared at her in silence. Outside, thunder roared in the sky. Inside, two strangers stared at each other, one human, one alien, connected by an ancient rule they didn't choose. Who was she really? Why was she running? And what would happen now? Raylan didn't know the answers, but something told him this was only the beginning. Raylan sat at the edge of his ship's medbay bed, watching the alien girl rest. Her breathing was slow, calm. Her skin had color again. The healing serum was working. But the strange glowing mark still burned on his wrist. He hadn't slept since the crash. Val, he said to his AI, give me everything you found on this bond. The AI responded. The data is mixed with unknown symbols. Translation, incomplete, but this is some kind of life contract, possibly permanent. Raylan sighed. Great, I saved a life. And now I'm married. Suddenly, the girl moved. Her silver eyes opened fully this time. She sat up staring at Raylan, then at the ship walls, confused. Where am I? You're on my ship, Raylan said carefully. I found you after the crash. You sent a signal. She looked at him closely, her expression unreadable. I'm not like the others. I'm human, he said. Name's Captain Raylan. She nodded slowly. I am Zira, princess of the Ilari people. Princess, Raylan repeated, raising an eyebrow. So the bond thing, that's real. Zira lowered her eyes. Yes. In Ilari law, if a royal is saved from death by another being, the bond is sealed. It is a sacred law, not a choice. Raylan stood up. Okay, hold on. I didn't agree to this. I didn't even know your name when I helped you. Zah looked at him sadly. The law is older than both of us. It cannot be undone. Raylan looked down at the glowing mark. It pulsed faintly like a heartbeat. He wasn't ready for this. He was a soldier once, a loner, not a prince, not a husband. Later in the control room, Raylan paced back and forth. This is insane, he muttered. I just wanted to help. Now, I'm stuck with some alien wedding curse. The AI spoke again. Warning, unknown ship detected. Tracking us. Raylan rushed to the screen. A red dot blinked nearby. Who is it? Ship design matches Ilari enemy craft. Power signature. Dangerous. He turned to see Zyra standing behind him, her expression tense. They found me who? Raylan asked. The Zevon Empire, she whispered. They were forcing a treaty on my people. They wanted my powers and control of our royal bloodline. Raylan narrowed his eyes. So you ran. I escaped during a false peace meeting. My pod was damaged. I sent the signal, not knowing it would reach a human. Raylan asked. What powers do you have? Zyra raised her hand. A soft glow formed around her fingers. Light bent slightly in the air. I can shift energy, heal wounds, control weak matter, but I cannot fight an army. Raylan took a deep breath, and now I'm in the middle of it. She stepped closer. You are part of it now. The bond means they will hunt you too. If you leave me, they will still find you. He turned away, thinking the bond had made him a target, and he barely knew her still. She looked scared and alone. Something inside him, maybe duty, maybe instinct, told him to stay. That night the ship floated quietly in orbit. Raylan stared at a picture of Earth on his wall, his old home, a place where things made sense. Behind him, Zyra entered. Quietly, I know this is strange for you, she said. Strange is a nice word, Raylan replied. She looked out the window. In my culture, the bond is not just a marriage, it is trust, life connection. If one dies, the other feels it. He turned to face her. So now I can't even die in peace. Zyra smiled faintly. No, you would take me with you. He chuckled, just a little. Lucky me. They stood in silence for a moment. Then Raylan asked, is there a way to undo it? There is one, she said. The break rite, an old Alari ritual, but it is far hidden and painful. How painful? Memory loss, power loss, even death. Raylan sighed. Sounds lovely, but Zyra added, we don't have time to find it. Not now. The Zevran will strike soon. Raylan looked at the stars, quiet, cold, dangerous. Then he looked at her. If I help you, what do we become? She met his eyes. We survive together. Outside, the enemy ship crept closer, dark and silent, like a shadow in space. Inside, Raylan made a silent promise. He didn't ask for this bond, but now that it had begun, he wouldn't run from it. Not yet. Space had never felt this small. Raylan stared at the blinking red dot on the radar screen. The Zevon ship was closer, now closer than comfort, but just far enough to hide in the darkness of the stars. How long until they reach us? Raylan asked the dot. The AI responded. Estimated time, 3 hours at current speed. Zyra stood behind him, silent. Her eyes were locked on the screen. They're not following the signal, she said. They're following me, my DNA. The bond mark made it easier for them. Raylan looked down at the glowing symbol on his wrist. So this mark is like a tracking device. Zyra nodded. In a way, yes. The Zevon have ancient machines. They can trace soul energy. Soul energy, Raylan muttered. Right, totally normal stuff. He turned back to the controls. We're not waiting here. I've fought before, but not with a target painted on my back. Zyra looked at him. Then we run. The Valkyrie rose from orbit, engines humming. Below, the stormy planet vanished under clouds ahead. Stars stretched forever. Raylan pushed the ship faster, engaging silent mode. No transmissions, no heat. Trail. The AI confirmed. Stealth mode active for now. They were ghosts, but ghosts could still be hunted. 1 hour passed. Raylan and Zyra sat in the control room, saying little. The air felt heavier, like something was watching them. You've done this before? Raylan asked. Run like this? Yes, Zyra replied. Many times, always alone. Raylan looked at her. Not anymore. She smiled faintly. That's what scares me. Suddenly the ship jolted. Val, report. Raylan shouted. Tracking beam detected. Zevran ship has locked on. Outside, space lit up. A massive black vessel appeared behind them, spiky, sharp, and alive with red lights. It moved like a hunter smelling blood. They're faster than us, Raylan said. They feed off energy trails, Zyra explained. The more we push, the stronger they track. Then we need cover. Raylan searched the star map. A small asteroid field was nearby. I'm taking us in. The Valkyrie dove into the asteroid belt. Rocks spun in all directions, giant and fast. One mistake, instant death. The Zevran ship followed, but slower. Its size made it harder to move. Raylan gritted his teeth. Val stabilized thrusters. Warning, collision risk high. I'll take that over being captured. Zyra grabbed the co-pilot's stick. Let me help. Raylan glanced at her. You know how to fly? No, but I know how to guide. She closed her eyes. Her hands glowed faintly. The ship responded smoother, like it could feel her. Raylan smiled. Okay, that's new. Together they weaved through the deadly rocks. Behind them, the Zevon ship clipped an asteroid. Sparks exploded. It slowed but didn't stop. They're damaged, Raylan said, but not out. Zyra's eyes opened. She looked drained. You okay? She nodded. Just tired. Energy use has a cost. Raylan brought the ship behind a large spinning rock and cut power. We hide here, let them think we crashed. The AI confirmed. Ship signal offline. We appear dead. Outside, the Zevran ship slowed. Its red lights scanned the area. Minutes passed. No movement. Then the enemy ship turned and vanished into dark space. Inside, Raylan and Zyra let out a breath. That was close, he said. Zyra leaned back. They won't stop. Raylan looked at her. Why are they so desperate? Zyra hesitated. Because of who I am. I carry the royal codes. I can unlock ancient systems. I can start wars. Or stop them. And now I'm part of that. Raylan muttered. Yes, she said quietly. Because of the bond. He stood up. Then we need to break it. Zyra looked away. I understand, but her voice was softer now, almost sad. Later that night, Raylan stood alone in the observatory. Decked. Stars moved slowly across the glass dome. XYRA joined him. I'm sorry, she said. For what? He asked. For dragging you into this. Raylan didn't answer right away. Then he said, you didn't drag me. I chose to answer that signal. I just didn't know where it would lead. She smiled. It led here. To the middle of a war. To the middle of something I don't understand, he replied. They stood together, watching space. No more words needed. For now, they had survived, but the chase wasn't over. It had just begun. The ship drifted in silence, no alarms, no enemies, just stars and questions. Raylan sat on the floor of the cargo bay staring at the strange mark. On his wrist it pulsed softly, like a second heartbeat. He couldn't forget what it meant. He wasn't alone anymore. Zyra entered the room quietly. She wore a long silver coat from the ship's storage, too big for her, but warm. Her glowing skin was pale. She hadn't spoken much since the chase. Raylan looked up. Can I ask you something? She nodded. You may. When you healed the ship, when we were in the asteroid field, what was that? Zyra sat across from him, hands folded. That is the Alari gift. We do not fix things with tools. We feel the energy. We shift it. Raylan raised an eyebrow. So, you can control machines. Not control, she said. Listen to them. Everything has a voice. Even metal, even pain. Raylan chuckled. That's poetic. Also a little creepy. She tilted her head. To us, it's normal. He stood and walked to the engine room. Wires hung loose. Sparks flickered from earlier damage. This needs to be repaired, he said. Can you listen to this? Zyra followed. She placed her hands on the wall. The lights around them dimmed. Raylan watched closely, her eyes closed. The mark on her wrist glowed in sync with his. A low hum filled the room. Then without a single tool, wires moved. Panels shifted back into place. Lights turned green. Within seconds, the engine was stable. Raylan blinked. That should have taken me 6 hours. Zyra opened her eyes slowly. Energy remembers its shape. I just helped it return. He stared at her. You're not just a royal. You're a living power source. She looked away. That's why the Zevran want me. Raylan's voice lowered. That's why they'll come again. Later, Raylan checked navigation. Still no signs of pursuit, but it wouldn't last. Val, is there any safe port in this region? He asked. The AI replied, one station within reach. Abandoned Alari outpost. Coordinates uploaded. Raylan nodded. Set course. As he turned to leave, he found Zyra sitting in the observatory again, looking at stars. They look different from here, she said from where Raylan asked. From freedom he sat beside her. What was it like before all this? She took a breath. My world was made of crystal towers and silver rivers. Our people lived in balance. But then came the Zevran. They said peace, but they wanted control. You fought back, he asked. She shook her head. We signed peace, but peace is only paper. They wanted a royal child to mix bloodlines. To claim the throne. Raylan understood now. They wanted you. Zyra nodded. So I ran. My parents helped me escape. Raylan asked quietly. Do you think they're still alive? I hope, she said. Hope is all I have left. The ship moved toward the old Alari station that was hidden inside a broken moon covered in dust, forgotten by time. No lights, no signals, just silence. Perfect for hiding. Raylan docked the ship and stepped out with a flashlight. Zyra followed, her steps soft. Inside. The air was thin, cracked walls, ancient symbols, old tech. Zyra ran her fingers across a wall. This place remembers me. Raylan watched as doors opened without command. How? He asked. This was built by my ancestors, she said. It answers royal blood. They entered a large chamber. In the center, a round platform with glowing crystals. What is this? Raylan whispered. A soul mirror, Zyra said. It shows what lives inside. Raylan stepped forward. Let me try. But the platform stayed dark. Zyra stepped on it. Suddenly, the entire room lit up. Above her, images formed. Floating lights, shapes, memories. Raylan saw flashes. Zyra as a child, running through golden fields. Her parents, her escape, her pain. She stood motionless. Then she whispered, this is my truth. Raylan stepped beside her. It's not weakness, it's strength. She looked at him. You're the first one to say that, he smiled. I'm the first human you've met. Back on the ship, Raylan sat in his quarters. He looked again at the mark on his wrist. Whatever this bond was, magic, science, or something in between, it was changing him. He wasn't just part of Zyra's life, he was part of her war. But strangely, he didn't feel trapped. He felt needed, and that scared him more than the enemy that night. Zyra stood alone in the engine room, hands glowing as she whispered to the ship. You are strong, she told it. You carry him, you carry me. You must live. The ship pulsed with light. And far away, in the shadows of space, The Zevran ship found the trail again. The chase was not over. It was only getting closer. Raylan stood at the edge of the ancient platform inside the Alari outpost. Everything felt quiet, too quiet. Zyra stood behind him, her eyes lowered. Her hands trembled, though she tried to hide it. In front of them was an old control panel with strange glowing runes. A message on the screen flickered again and again. Begin break. Warning. Connection risk. Irreversible. This is it? Raylan asked. This breaks the bond. Zyra nodded slowly. Yes, but it comes with a price. Raylan stared at the machine. You've mentioned death before. Was that a real risk or just ... drama? She stepped closer. It is real. Not always death, but damage, pain, memory loss. Some never wake up again. The bond is powerful. To break it means to rip part of your soul apart. Raylan laughed bitterly. Great. First I accidentally get soul married. Now I have to choose between dying or staying hitched to someone I barely know. Zyra said nothing. Raylan turned to her. You don't want this bond either, do you? She hesitated, then she whispered. I didn't. At first, outside, the Zevran ship moved closer, silent, waiting. Inside the outpost, the air grew colder. Zyra walked toward the soul mirror platform again. Her voice was soft. When I first woke up on your ship, I thought you were like the others. Curious, cold, ready to use me. I wasn't, Raylan said. I know that now, she said. You risked your life. You fought for me. You spoke to me like I was a person, not a power. She looked at him with steady eyes. But if you truly want to break the bond, I won't stop you. Raylan took a deep breath. The machine's screen flickered again. One must choose. Only one heart may break the link. He looked at his wrist. The mark glowed. I don't even know what I'm feeling, he said. You're not human. This situation isn't normal. But Zyra raised her eyes. But he stepped closer. I'm not sure I want to forget you. The floor shook. Suddenly, an alarm blared from the outpost walls. Enemy ship has entered the system. The AI's voice warned. Zevran-class destroyer arming weapons. Raylan spun to the console. How did they find us? Zyra's eyes widened. They've locked onto the bond. We stayed too long. Raylan grabbed her arm. We have to go now. But Zyra pulled back. Raylan, listen. There's no time to run again. She looked toward the break-right machine. There's another choice. Raylan blinked. What do you mean? She pointed to a second set of symbols on the console. The bond can't just be broken. It can also be completed. Raylan froze. Wait, completed? As in yes, she said softly. The final step of the Alari rite. Total fusion. 2 souls. 1 power. He stepped back. That sounds worse than dying. Zyra didn't laugh. She placed a hand on the console. The room lit up. We complete the bond. We become something stronger. Together, we could fight. We could stop them. Raylan stared at her. And if we do that, there's no going back. No, she said. We become linked for life. In mind, in heart, in memory. He looked again at the 2 options on the console. Break, complete. 2 paths, 2 futures. Outside. The Zevran ship charged its main weapon. The outpost shields began to crack. Inside, Raylan's thoughts raced. He had always worked alone. No family, no roots, no promises. And now, in the middle of space, an alien princess was asking him to merge his life with hers. It was madness. But so was running forever. So was watching her die. He looked at her one last time. Her face was calm, afraid. But not for herself, for him. Let's do it, Raylan said. XYRA reached for his hand. Their marks glowed brighter. They stepped onto the platform together. A new screen appeared. Life bond completion. Begin. Raylan nodded. The room lit up. Wind whipped around them, though there was no wind. Their feet rose off the floor. Memories crashed through Raylan's mind, not just as hers. He saw Zyra as a child, laughing, crying, fighting, running, and she saw him, Earth, war, his losses, his silence. In one moment. They became open books to each other. No more secrets, just truth, just connection. The light faded. The platform lowered. Raylan stood breathing hard, heart pounding. XYRA looked up at him. Are you okay? She asked. He nodded slowly. I feel everything, so do I. They turned toward the door. The AI spoke, warning. Zevran ship landing in 30 seconds. Raylan cracked his knuckles. Then let's show them what 2 souls can do. Outside, the enemy was ready. Inside, so were they. Together, the outpost shook with every second. Dust fell from the ceiling. Lights flickered. Outside, the Zevran ship lowered its legs onto the cracked moon surface, hissing steam as it prepared to strike. Inside, Raylan stood taller than ever before. Something inside him had changed. He wasn't just Raylan anymore. The bond with Zyra had unlocked something deeper, an energy he didn't understand, but could feel in his bones. His senses were sharper. His fear was gone. And beside him, Zyra glowed brighter than ever. They're going to send ground troops, Raylan said, grabbing his plasma rifle from the wall. They'll come for you first. Zyra stepped forward. Let them try. Outside, the outpost. Zevran soldiers dropped from the enemy ship. Tall, armored beings with black skin and red eyes. They moved like machines, silent and fast. Raylan checked the defense panel. No working guns left. No shields. We don't need them, Zyra said softly. We have us. He turned to her. Whatever this bond gave me, I'll use it. But you lead the charge. This is your war. She placed a hand on his shoulder. No, our war. As the Zevran breached the first door, Raylan and Zyra waited in the central chamber. Raylan's hands tingled with power. His weapon hummed, but so did his body. His muscles felt charged, stronger than ever. Zyra raised her hand. The light spent around her fingers as the door exploded inward. Smoke filled the hall. Zevran soldiers rushed in. Raylan didn't hesitate. He moved with speed that shocked even him, dodging, firing, striking. Every shot was perfect. Every step was fast. Zyra stood like a storm. Her energy shot forward like lightning, hitting enemy armor, melting it like wax. One wave down. More came. Raylan shouted, "They just keep coming." Zyra didn't answer with words. She sent a shockwave through the floor. The walls trembled. The invaders fell like dominoes. Raylan looked at her, stunned. "Remind me not to make you angry." But the enemy had a secret too. From the main ship, a massive figure stepped down, taller than the rest, clad in obsidian armor. Its voice was deep and cold. "Zyra of Alari, you have broken treaty. You are property now." Raylan stepped forward. "She belongs to no one." The figure raised a dark blade. "You are human. You are weak. Your world is not part of this galaxy." Raylan smiled. "That's your mistake." With a scream, the figure charged. Raylan met him head on. Their weapons clashed. Sparks flew. The ground cracked beneath them. Raylan moved like a warrior from ancient stories, sharp, fearless. The bond had given him something Zevran couldn't understand, the power of choice beside him. Zyra rose into the air. Waves of pure light flew from her hands, wrapping around the enemy like chains of fire. The Zevran leader roared and tried to break free. Raylan jumped, aimed his final shot straight through the weak spot in the armor. One hit, silence. The enemy fell. The rest of the soldiers froze. Then they ran. The sky above cleared as the Zevran ship powered down. Raylan dropped to his knees, breathing hard. "We won," he said, shocked. XYRA landed beside him. "Not just us." She looked up. A small signal blinked on the screen nearby. "Incoming. Transmission. Earth command." Raylan pressed the button. "Captain Raylan, this is General Klein. We received your distress code." "You've got quite the story to tell." Raylan smiled. "You have no idea." Later, in the Valkyrie, Raylan sat beside Zyra in the pilot's seat. "You sent that message?" he asked. She nodded. "I found the old beacon inside the outpost. It was built by Alarian humans long ago. Our people were allies." Raylan leaned back. "So humanity was always part of this galaxy?" Zyra smiled. "You were lost. Now you're found again." Raylan looked at her. "And what about us?" She held up her hand. The bond mark still glowed. His did too. "This isn't just survival," she said. "It's connection." He nodded. "And a future, only if we choose it." Raylan turned toward the stars. "Then let's build one." In the dark corners of the galaxy, the news spread quickly. A human and an Alari had defeated a Zevran general. Together, the galaxy watched, and humanity, once silent and forgotten, had returned to the game, not as servants but as something more. 1 week had passed since the battle. The stars looked the same, but everything else had changed. Raylan stood on a platform outside Earth's new diplomatic station. It floated near the moon, shining like a new lighthouse for the galaxy. For the first time in history, humanity had entered the interstellar stage not as visitors, but as equals. He looked down at his wrist. The bond mark still glowed, faintly, quietly, but it was part of him now, forever. Inside the station, leaders gathered, humans, Alari, a few others nervous but curious. A round table, a peace banner, fresh talks. Zyra stood beside Raylan, dressed in flowing white robes, trimmed with silver lines that shimmered like starlight. Her presence was calm but powerful. The others listened when she spoke. Raylan leaned over and whispered, "You look like a queen." Zyra smiled without looking at him. "And you still dress like a soldier." He smirked. "Old habits." General Klein stepped up. "This meeting is called to honor an event that changed us all. One human, one alien, one decision that saved 2 worlds." Everyone clapped. Raylan shifted uncomfortably. He didn't like speeches. He just liked fixing things, fighting when needed. But this was history, and he was part of it. After the meeting, Raylan and Zyra walked through the quiet halls of the station. Windows showed Earth below, blue, round, peaceful. "I never thought I'd come back," Raylan said. "You're not just back," Zyra replied. "You've brought your world forward." He nodded. "And what about yours?" She paused. "The Alari are rebuilding. Many were afraid of me. They saw the bond as a weakness, but it wasn't," Raylan said. "No," she agreed. "It was a choice. And that's what makes it powerful." They walked in silence for a moment. Then Zyra turned to him. "The bond, ... it can fade if we let it. The energy will remain, but the connection, the depth, it can become ... hollow." Raylan looked at her, confused. "Why are you saying this?" "Because you deserve to choose again," she said gently, "now that the danger is gone." He stared at her. "Do you want to let it fade?" She hesitated, then whispered no. He smiled slowly. "Then neither do I." They returned to the Valkyrie later that day. The old ship had been repaired, cleaned, and upgraded with Illyri technology. It now ran smoother than ever, almost like it had a soul of its own. Raylan ran his hand along the control panel. Mr. Zyra placed her palm on the dashboard. She remembers everything. As they sat down, the AI chimed in. New mission request received. Remote colony in distress. Coordinates uploaded. Raylan glanced at Zyra. You up for another rescue? She grinned. Always. They launched into space once more, two lights flying through the stars, side by side. Far away, in a dark system no longer on any star maps, a figure stood watching. Its eyes were machine, its body living metal. It had seen the battle, it had seen the bond. And now, it was curious. They joined, the figure said quietly. Two species, one power. From behind, others gathered, silent machines with red cores. The figure turned. Prepare. The galaxy is changing, and we must change. Back aboard the Valkyrie, Raylan and Zyra flew through the void, sharing tea made from herbs she brought from her homeworld. Do you ever wonder what the future looks like? She asked. Raylan shrugged. No, I try to focus on what's in front of me. She looked at him. And what's in front of you now? He looked into her eyes. You, Zyra smiled. Then your future looks good. They laughed, easy and soft. The silence between them wasn't heavy anymore. It was peaceful. The ship passed a dying star. Its last breath painted gold across the sky. Raylan leaned back. You know, I never planned any of this. Neither did I, Zyra said. But I'm glad it happened. She nodded. Because now we can write the next part together. The galaxy had wars. It had danger. But it also had people who chose to stand together, not for power, not for duty, but for trust. For hope, for something more than survival. They weren't just bonded. They were building something, a future, together.